Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Courtside with Beelance and Tennis, part of the Tennis Channel Podcast Network. We are so happy to have with us on tonight Brittany Collens, a 2017 graduate of the University of Massachusetts. Brittany and her teammates have been in the news as of late because of a recent totally preposterous, delusional, and illogical decision by the NCAA that took away the team's Atlantic 10 title, along with all 3 years of their wins, due to a $252 clerical error, which we will get into the details during our conversation. It is my privilege to welcome to the Courtside with Beelance and Tennis pod, Brittany Collens. Brittany, one, thank you for taking time to doing this. I know you've been talking to different media outlets the last couple of days like crazy. And two, I can't even imagine what you've been going through these past few days. You doing all right?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on here. I mean, really, it means so much to my team and myself to help get the word out there. So it is a privilege for me to be here, and I am overwhelmed in the best way possible. So that's how I'm doing, feeling a little crazy right now, but I'm so excited and so happy that people are picking this story up.
Well, you and your team, you and your teammates were done wrong, and everybody here is trying to help and make it get right. And we're doing everything we possibly can to try to make this right. So, just by way of background for our listeners, you started your collegiate career at New Mexico State your freshman year. You then transferred to UMASS for your next 3 years, had much success, and you capped it off with an Atlantic 10 title your senior year, which was also your head coach's last year in coaching. She was getting ready to go off in retirement.
Yeah, we always say it was our fairy tale ending. It couldn't have ended on a better note for everyone.
It sure did, right? And then all of a sudden, you're done with college. 2017, your last year there. You're going about your business. You're training. You're playing some professionally. And then at about what time did you hear something strange was happening? And can you describe exactly what you ultimately found out?
Yeah, it was bizarre. I had got a text from my coaches, my fitness coaches, and I had just pulled in to my house, and I kind of just saw the headline.
And this was
Like
what,
UMass.
like a week ago?
Yeah, on about just a little bit more than a week ago, on a Friday. So not this past one, but the one before. So not too long ago. And yeah, I started to see the headline. I was like, oh, haha, like, what happened? Like, you're joking with me. Like, obviously I did nothing wrong, because they said, like, weren't you at UMass tennis between 2014 and 17? And then I started reading the article, and I realized I was one of these student athletes that they did not name, but they said that there was impermissible benefits, and I couldn't quite catch on to what was going on, because the headline was a little bit like misleading. It was saying $9,100 in benefits, and I was like, whoa, I never took like $9,100. Like, I know that for a fact. And as soon as I started to gather information, I realized that UMass had self-reported an error, a small clerical error, in which my best friend Anna Woosley and I were a part of this 12 student athlete where we received this thing called the telecom fee. It was a stipend for on-campus housing for dorm phones. And 2015, 2016, my best friend and I move off campus with some other athletes on the tennis team and stuff. And I guess we had been received this $126 each stipend that we were not entitled to.
When did
And
your compliance department discover this clerical error?
So that I'm not entirely sure, because it's been in an investigation for a little while now.
Okay.
But we didn't know that, unfortunately. So this was all a huge surprise. It was after, like, we were done, because the whole thing.
That's what I was going to say. It was well done. It was well done after you were graduated. It wasn't like during the time of this quote unquote infraction.
Yeah. It's bizarre. The whole thing is bizarre.
Absolutely bizarre. So you have this $126 each, you and your roommate, for an on-campus, I guess, phone jack. You're now off campus. You didn't even know you had it. Also, it's my understanding, like, when you're given your scholarship money, you don't get like you get it kind of like in bulk, right? There's no line item that would highlight this to you.
Yeah, like, we get this like sum of money that gets directly deposited into our bank accounts. So there's no way that we would have been able to like be like, oh, you guys overpaid us $126 because we don't know like what we are entitled to. So yeah, unfortunately they found this error, self-reported, came to an agreement with the NCAA because there's an investigation launched, and the NCAA was like, well, you actually record keep well 98% of the time. They even said in their documents this was clearly a mistake, and they came to an agreement that it was just going to be a self-imposed fine by UMass, $5,000, and on top of it some probation. The Committee of Infractions comes back after an agreement has been made and says, no, your players are ineligible and you didn't pull them out, so you're going to vacate all 3 seasons, which is really interesting because they grouped us in with basketball. And the reason why it's interesting is because Anna and I received this fee in 2015-16, but they also think it's important to vacate the year before we see it, or we had the stipend, because they're grouping us in with basketball, who I guess it had happened the year before. So it's the whole thing doesn't really make sense, let alone the fact that they're vacating seasons and punishing student athletes for something they did nothing wrong. And so it's, that's kind of how I found out. That's what I had started to learn. I was making calls because it was really confusing. The headlines were really confusing.
I mean, this, and you hear stuff, and I'm sure there are good people at the NCAA, and you do hear some unfortunate stories about the NCAA. But this, and I followed it. I'm a sports fan. I follow it, right? But this to me really hit a nerve, because there is no way that $126 for 2 people and a total of $252 automatically equals vacating of wins for 3 seasons plus your Atlantic 10 title. That is totally
No.
illogical. It's totally ridiculous, and totally, I mean, you can't even describe it. And then you go even to, okay, what's the competitive advantage, right? This isn't like you're,
Yeah.
taking extra practice time with coaches, more hours that the
Yeah.
NCAA allows, gives you guys a competitive advantage. Nothing
Right.
like that at all. As far as I know, I'm not the smartest guy out there, but even if you did get this phone jack, I don't think it helps improves your first serve percentage. I mean,
No.
it makes
I
zero
mean,
sense to me
yeah.
and anybody.
No, it's really just not okay, to be honest. I mean, everyone, including myself, you kind of laugh when you hear this story, but I think the laughter is like kind of disbelief, because the $126 definitely didn't help me the year before I received
Right.
it. It definitely didn't help me the year of, and then to say 1 year later, like, also, like, it's just crazy. And the NCAA hasn't vacated seasons for some of the most severe offenses in the history. So it's, like you said, illogical, doesn't make sense, and we want answers, and that's why we started this petition. And I'm so glad that we connected because of it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's credit to your institution. They're fighting for you, and they're going to continue
Yeah.
to fight this, because this is not right. This is just plainly not right. And
Yeah.
again, they've spent a heck of a lot more than $252 trying to
Yeah.
fix a wrong that, really there was nothing really done to equate to this punishment. And talk about the punishment not fitting the crime. Um,
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Really, I mean, it's
Now,
crazy.
I
I
will
mean,
say this. I mean, what your parents? I mean, what did your parents even say when this came to light? I mean, you're not a cheater. I mean, it's like, what, your parents can't get angry at you. They got to be in disbelief with the NCAA.
yeah, my parents are my biggest supporters. They have been since I was a junior, and they definitely are now. My parents, actually, both of them came to like every single college match, including my grandparents and all that. So this also meant a lot to them. And both of them were like, this is ridiculous. Like, really just like outraged, and just like felt bad for my team and I, and felt bad for everyone that's affected, because our community goes so much, it's beyond the tennis players. Like, our support system, you won't hear about it because of course it's a small sport, but we have lots of fans that are retired that come to our matches. So I mean, my parents were just like, this is crazy, out of line. Of course the NCAA does something again, and I think, having talked to them, they're really proud and happy that it's getting a different light from the media.
For sure. And we have, you mentioned the media. We have Dick Vitale, who has tweeted you a bunch of times. He's a huge supporter. He's in shock and disbelief over this. Brad Gilbert even retweeted about this. John Wertheim, I know
Yeah.
you're going to be talking with him. Um,
Yeah.
Reddit posted. I mean, it's just starting to get more and more traction. I know you're in disbelief with it, but social media, there can be bad in social media and there can be good in social media. And this is a case
Yeah.
where social media has done a lot of good, and we're going to continue to try to help you and your program and
Thank
make
you.
this right, because this is
Yeah.
just wrong. It's just plain wrong.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate it. I can't say it enough. And if anyone could see our team group chats, like it's just going off with, oh my God, like I can't believe this person's supporting us. This is amazing. Like I think at the end of the day, honestly, we hope it gets overturned by the NCAA. But I think the support actually means more at this
Yeah, for
point,
sure.
really. Like I think that's really what's our character was the problem, and it's definitely restored that.
For sure. And I think it's also important. The ITA, that's the governing body of college tennis, just wrote an article on your behalf as well. So,
Yeah, they're doing really great things. I have to shout out to them and say thank you, because they are sending our petition to every single D1, D2, D3, and junior college men's and women's coach.
it's
So
amazing.
they have really stepped it up, and can't thank them enough to feel so supported by them.
And the petition, where can we go? Where can the listeners go and sign that petition? They can find you on Twitter, and it's there.
Yeah, I've been blowing up everybody's feed with this petition. So you can find it on any of my social media accounts, Instagram and Twitter, Facebook. It's all I talk about right now. But on top of it, it's really easy to find. It's on change.org /UM tennis petition. UM for UMass, but we cut it short to UM. So amazing, really.
Okay,
Thank you.
and it's really easy. I signed. You got guys like Dick Vitale signing. Um, I will say this, and I do think this will get rectified on your behalf. But
Thank you.
no matter what happens, and I'm speaking now as a parent of a 16-year-old daughter. Also, I'm a tennis coach, as you know too, so I'd be speaking on behalf of my students.
Yeah,
What you and your team accomplished on that court happened. That happened.
thank you.
You won your conference title. You had all those victories for 3 years. That can
Thank
never,
you.
ever be taken away, no matter what the NCAA does. So those results happen. You will never lose those memories and those wins.
Thank
It
you.
happens. So
Thank you.
no matter what the NCAA comes down with, and I truly think they will correct this horrible wrong that they did to your team, you and your teammates should be very, very proud.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, thank you. That means really so much to all of us. And that's what we've been trying to say to each other. At the end of the day, we have the memories, and it's brought us so close to each other. And that's the important thing. And we won't forget it.
Brittany, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to keeping in touch with you, and
Me too.
we're gonna be keep pushing this until
Thank
this
you.
horrendous decision gets rectified, and I truly believe it will. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
All right, talk soon.
Thank you.